everybody, and welcome to another episode of Planet New Jersey. I'm keeping the energy down just a little bit because my dad gave me some feedback that when I come in on these, I'm like, welcome. So, welcome everybody to Planet New Jersey, the official podcast of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, the most awesome business association in the United States of America, maybe even the galaxy. I don't know. With us, as always, is my co-host, Randy Stevens. I'm Vinnie Civitillo. And with us also today from Citizens Bank is our big sponsor for the day, Nuno Francisco. He is the business banking market executive at Citizens. Say hi, let the audience hear your voice.
Hey, how are you, Vinny? Thanks for having us.
Oh, always great. Always great. Thanks for being here. We're going to get right into things and get to know Nuno a little bit. Nuno, tell us about your background and role at Citizens.
Yeah, thanks. I've been with Citizens for a little bit over a year and a half, coming into the role here. Through and through, I'm a Jersey guy, so grew up in Newark.
There we go.
That's my hometown. I proudly state EWR is the best airport in America. Don't debate me.
I don't have a lot of experience with them, so that's the one I know.
Terminal A is best in class. So for all of you out there that support Newark as a business, whether you're connecting through Newark or leveraging Newark as a resource, I certainly appreciate it. But career banker, just about 28, 29 years in this business.
Wow.
Just about 20 of those in business banking specifically. And I have the dear pleasure of leading what we call our coverage business. So when you think about business banking, small businesses, companies that need the banking services from a financial services firm, my teams lead the day-to-day relationship of those clients, right? So you think about all things loans, deposits, advice, right? So kind of sitting down and understanding the strategic position of the company, all things money movement, right? So executing payments, taking
that sounds like a lot.
something that a service you deliver or good that you sell, and you need to either pay for it or get paid for it. In return, having the flexibility to have all those money movement things happen for you. And as we often like to think and be very, very proud of, we want it to be a frictionless experience as possible, right? So much of that very, very smooth operator type of feel when you're thinking about a banking experience, and making sure that our RMs are front and center and meeting our customers where they're at in their journey.
What's an RN?
RM, so relationship.
RM. I thought registered nurse. RN. You said RM. Okay, sorry.
Different industry. But, yeah. Very similar. Nurturing, caring. Yeah.
And Nuno, how big is the team that you're overseeing there? I know that you move around a little bit. We were talking about pre-production, but how big is the team that you're overseeing in the business banking sector, whether it's in Jersey or regional? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we have about 80 to 90 or so coverage bankers, so client-facing RMs. And then every team is led by a leader in the market, right? So I have the great pleasure of leading our business in New Jersey, New York, Florida, California. So all throughout those businesses, you'll have a geography essentially, like a central Jersey and northern Jersey. You'll have a Manhattan team. You have a Brooklyn team, Long Island, etc. So they all kind of roll into the leader, so that we have executive presence in the market and making our sales available to being client facing. So just about 80 to 90 folks. We're ramping up a ton, a tremendous amount of investment on the people side of things at Citizens when we think about our business and the way we deliver to clients. We got a few folks coming on board here in the next probably 8 to 12 weeks. So excited about our growth as well.
Wow.
I like to hear that you I don't know how you localize it that much, because you would think like a big company would say like, all right, you're in charge of New Jersey as a whole thing. You're in charge of New York. They're narrowing it down to like, you got Brooklyn, you got Manhattan.
Yeah, Vinny, that's a great point. We follow the data, right? And again, we want to be where our customers are. So essentially, we're going to look at our portfolio of customers where we see trade opportunity, whether that's businesses coming into the area. When you think about a place like Florida, or perhaps a very rich, mature book like we have through parts of New Jersey and New York City, I want a leader in that market, so that when the client has the need, has the question, raises their hand to face off with the leader, that person is 15, 30 minutes away and can be right there by the side of the coverage banker to handle and meet the needs of the customer, understand and hear from them directly. And, I say this all the time, and I think we touched on this recently when we got together with Bob C. But I want my folks to really be close to their customers. That this is all about. And what Randy just said, you think about it, a big bank, right? Top 15 bank, super regional. But we really try to achieve that small bank feel. And the way we do that is by being laser focused on the markets that we serve.
I remember when you were on the Minding Your Business show, you said that you want your people being invited to the clients' barbecues.
That's my
If we
thing.
hold one, we're going to invite you.
That's my thing. I want to have that type of rapport with our clients where, yeah, we want to be so in the know, so connected to them that we want them to be invited to the summer barbecues. And yes, that's a little bit of a tagline there, but that is the culture that we want to drive with our clients. Absolutely. Had just an experience last week where I talked to a customer that we're speaking to about onboarding with us, and the experience that she shared with her incumbent bank was, what made her kind of broke the straw on the camel's back that broke there was she had an experience where, she was directed to an 800 number and spent over an hour and a half on the phone on hold and being
Oh,
transferred.
can't stand
And
that.
that is just not a good experience when you're leading a business, right? Like,
Yeah.
I would say this: people are good at being business people. You think about a doctor, right? I go to school, I'm a surgeon. That's what I'm good at. Banking should not be a concern of mine, right? So I want to make sure that our teams are front and center at the place of business with their client and helping them through their journey.
And I don't know if you can speak to this, so forgive me for putting you on the spot, but I mean, shout out to Citizens and their great relationship that they have with NJBIA right now. You just talked about a moment ago, people investing and bringing some new folks on board. So how many branches, I guess, are there specifically to New Jersey right now where you guys are, giving that kind of customer service and that feel, that impact locally in these communities?
Yeah, so we have about 100 branches in New Jersey, and
Wow.
even kind of when you pull back a little bit and you think about greater New York, because as you know, right, you have business owners that perhaps
Yes,
are,
sir.
are in
Yes,
the
sir.
city that, maybe they sleep in New Jersey. So, there's that definitely the diversity of opportunity in the business community within our boundaries. And yeah, I mean, it's something throughout greater New York and New Jersey, 175, just about 100
Wow.
branches in New Jersey. So a significant presence. And then what's nice about that is, outside of the branch environment, perhaps, where we can meet a customer, we have some amazing client facing spaces in Short Hills, in Iselin, and as always, and probably my favorite is to get out front and center at the client's place of business.
I think something's interesting too. I was playing around on the website. I was talking about a pre-production. I think most folks are not aware of the different, let's just say, levels there is to banking. So I see Citizens has like personal, student, business, corporate, and private. Like I know that you're focused in the commercial space right now, but with that history that you have in the industry, could you just briefly talk about some of the differences between those different segments? Like if that's how you would, identify it.
Yeah, sure. So essentially, I would start with two main pillars in banking, right? You have a consumer platform, and in
Okay.
in the consumer platform, you have the branch network, you have your wealth services for the more affluent customers. Perhaps you have a private bank program like we just rolled out over the last 2 years, and then you have the business pillar, right? So you got your consumer pillar, and then you have your business pillar. In your business pillar, you have your startups, your solopreneurs, your people that are perhaps, opening that first graphic design company. Maybe it's a dentist that just got out of school and is opening up their first dental practice. So we kind of look at that customer, that $0 to $1 million space as small businesses, right? Like the folks that are getting started, perhaps don't employ many people, maybe one or two employees. And then you have perhaps the more complex customers, right? So as you start going up in revenue size, your needs become very different. When you think about the ability to draw on capital, whether it's your own or you borrow from the bank, whether it's now you got to think about employing 5 people, and now you have to deliver health benefits for 5 people. It becomes more complex along the journey. And I think what's great about a place like Citizens, as you go through those scales on either side of the bank, you're not going to outgrow us, right? So you can, if
Mm.
you're a mom and pop and you open that first LLC, you can walk into a branch and have an amazing experience. And if you're a $35 million CPA practice that's been around for 18 years, and perhaps your bank is not delivering a best in class experience, well, we've got a team that's ready to come in and show you what that looks and feels like. And we'll gladly onboard you and kind of welcome you into the Citizens platform and ecosystem, where we then bring in these other parts of the bank, right? So we recently held an event where we brought in about 90 or so customers and centers of influence to talk about exit planning and exit strategy. So whether customers were in a transaction, planning for a transaction, or maybe even just incorporated their business 3 4 years ago, we gave them the floor to have robust dialogue and questions around what it's like to kind of plan for those things. I will tell you, I do a lot of thought leadership, and I think a big piece that's missing in the business community is always planning for that latter stage of life. And it's the
Yes,
last
sir.
thing that people always play for, right? So even again, to your point, Randy, when you're thinking about starting that LLC and going to the state to file your formation docs, like you should have in your mind, you should have a vision, even if it's 20 years down the road, what do you want it to look like, right? You could be perhaps a best in class producer. You're going to do your thing here, and over time, you're going to build your business, but there should be a trigger that, like, man, I'm motivated for this. This is my North Star. And I gotta, maybe I don't put a detailed plan to get there, but on my way there and through the journey, I'm going to make sure that I don't forget to plan.
Cool. Speaking of a business pillar and business planning, I know that Citizens tracks a lot of what's going on outlook wise. Tell me a little bit about 2026 and how people are feeling.
Yeah. So we just launched the 2026 Business Outlook. I mean, I think we've got it out all over our social. It's available
The
on our
pulse.
website as well. Yes, the Business Pulse.
Yes.
And essentially, what we're doing is we're talking to customers, collecting data. Right. I think, like I said earlier, we're hearing about data, and folks are more and more concentrated. I think that folks a lot more these days are planning ahead. They're investing in the tools that they need, looking for ways to operate more efficiently, right? You think about a banking relationship 15, 20 years ago versus what it is today, it's a very different experience, right? Not only from the bank lens of things, but how a customer or a business operates themselves. Labor is still tight. Inflation still matters, right? As much as perhaps some of that is behind us, it still matters. But I think that one of the takeaways for me, Vinny and Randy, is that businesses that I'm talking to are adapting more rather than pausing. Like it's the
Mm.
whole it's the pivot game. And I think we saw a lot of that during COVID where
Mhm.
somebody, you got thrown into this and you had to find a way. You had to find that resilience. I think businesses are improving or rather investing to improve their efficiency, right? So doing more with less, leveraging tools, partnerships, and then despite the persistent pressures that we're seeing around talent and inflation, they're finding a way to get it done. And I hope bankers here and bankers at peer banks are having that top of mind to get in front of customers. And then you think about New Jersey, right? And there's specific resilience opportunity here. I've heard before that what you've navigated through before is going to allow for you to navigate through this too. And I think that's a little bit of that Jersey flavor, that Jersey attitude, and I think that's just the pure energy that's driving a lot of decisions right now. I think to recap, people are seeing optimism, perhaps not the growth or the spurts that everybody thought earlier on or maybe 12 months ago. But I think some positive optimism is on the horizon here for business owners. When we think about what's happening in the broader industry.
What's interesting too is that I think after the disruption of COVID, right, and it seems like you kind of proved this point too. It seems like the business owners are starting to be, as well as citizens, obviously, more proactive versus reactive to situations. So, in that planning and all that, is that kind of the same thing you're saying you're seeing when folks are attending these events or just trying to see what resources or opportunities are out there, for them?
Yeah, Randy, that's a great point. I think that technology has put that type of data point research, whatever you want to call it. I think that technology has put that front and center of folks, whether that's people just sitting down and being able to research things on their laptop, whether that's the adoption of artificial intelligence and how that's driving business. But I think folks are just becoming far more resourceful, right? I think that's also another word that we've kind of heard from the business community over the last 4 or 5 years. Folks are finding ways to get it done. So, yeah, absolutely.
We've had some conversations with some other guests from different industries in recent time, obviously around AI. And but it seems like even with the adoption of AI, there's still going to be a need for that face-to-face people interaction, right? You don't ever see that going away, specifically for citizens. You're not advising, more technology than that face-to-face interaction, are you? Like with your customers and
You can't
You are,
invite AI to a barbecue, Randy.
well, you are
I
though,
mean,
but
you
you are.
can. I don't know if they'll come.
Exactly. They might even RSVP it for you, but they're not going to show up unless like a Tesla just pulls into your
Oh my
driveway.
goodness. Yeah, that's yeah.
Scare the hell out of me.
That'll probably
I
be
need
in
to see a
just.
person on the grill then, so I agree with you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think that's the power of relationships these days is that, and we just put out an article with the Financial Times where our head of strategy came out and kind of put it out there on how we're leveraging these tools. So, yes, Randy, my bankers have access to Copilot. And yes, Randy, I expect them to do research on, for example, NJBIA if we're going to go out and see them next week. But at the end of the day, it's how that banker communicates in the room.
I like
It's
it.
the ability to build rapport
I
and
like
earn the
it.
right to do business with you that's going to ultimately land us the opportunity. So I think it's something that can be very, very supportive. And I think Citizens has done, as a firm, a great job of enabling our colleagues to go to the market with tools like that to be able to be better informed about who our customers and prospective customers are.
I like it a lot.
So you mentioned before, when we talk about pivoting and, navigating growth, do you have any advice, I would say, for companies that are struggling through this? You're kind of boots on the ground as far as, the banking world goes.
Yeah. I mean, here's a couple of things that I think are super important. Always know where you stand. And when I say that, I mean that across the board. Understand what your ops looks like, right? Like how
Yeah.
important are you to a business? If I have to take the next 3 days off tomorrow, is my business equipped to operate without me there? I think that's something super, super incredibly important. And I think a lot of times owners, founders, they kind of miss that piece, right? Because they're so passionate about their business that they forget about their business's ability to succeed. If you've got to take a meeting for 2 or 3 days, like your business should be prepared for that. When I think about something like people get in a little bit of a funk, a little bit of a jam, Vinny, and maybe like they don't have a good placement of where their financials are, understanding your numbers, no matter how big or how small your business is, but understanding your position from a financial lens is super super important. I think one of the things that I talk to at least all the time when I'm talking with a customer, specifically when meeting them for the first time, one of the questions that I always toss out there is, "Hey, Vinny, where do you want to be in 3 years?" Right? Like, have that understanding of I'm in it today. I'm selling X. I'm providing Y service, whatever it is that you do, but have yourself a guide. Even this the word business plan gets thrown around so loosely with businesses and how important it is or isn't. I'm a big believer that you should have it, right? And you should have it in a little notebook, and even if it's in bullet form, folks should always be prepared to answer questions, whether I'm a lender coming in and looking to finance your business, whether you're going to go out and meet a prospective customer and you need to market yourself in a certain way, or maybe you're going out to somebody for capital. They're going to want to ask questions and understand what's going on under the hood. And the more you know your business around operations, the more you understand your business around sustainability. And like I talked about, your ability for your business to run when you're not so engaged. And then just understanding the financial picture and zero impact. Again, I want to make sure like we make this super, super important. Doesn't matter how big your business is or how small, you got to know where you stand.
I think that speaks to a lot of times we say for NJBIA, and you mentioned about the power of relationships, right? As a relationship manager for BIA, I tell folks a lot of times our small business owners, they're so focused on what they do every day that some of the things, the operations that they're talking about kind of falls to the wayside. So I think that's the importance of having good relationships and organizations in place to kind of support you in those areas where you're not as strong because it's not what you do. And I think you just spoke to that, very, very well as well,
Yeah.
Nina.
You again, Randy, you and I are talking the same language. I call that our deal team. So if you're a customer, Randy owns business Y, Randy should have his deal team. And his deal team is Randy,
I like it.
maybe a couple of people that are his chief or like super important management, like who's your right hand, or if you're fortunate enough to have a CFO, who is that person, right? So now you got the business side of things, and then who's your banker? who's your accountant, who's your attorney, who's your insurance broker, and that's your deal team. So leaning in on those people that can help you guide through is just as important here when we think about that ecosystem of a business.
I'm a little bit jealous because you said you're taking off to, I didn't even recognize this. You said you're taking off to San Francisco this weekend, and there's a big event happening on that West Coast. So outside of just the warm weather that you're heading to, man, let's keep you here in Jersey a little bit, and you can tell us some about your Jersey-based initiatives you guys have for the year.
Yeah, so we've got Jersey Shops presented by Citizens in partnership with the New Jersey Devils, where not just customers, but businesses throughout the state of New Jersey can apply for a $5,000 award that is given throughout the course of the season, as well as a membership to Luminary, who's one of our strategic partners.
What's
Essentially,
Luminary? Okay, go ahead.
yeah, essentially, Luminary is a global professional and education and networking platform for entrepreneurs. And essentially, whether you're in New York City or in Miami, Dallas, there's a network of resources available to you. So, with this award comes a 1-year membership to Luminary, which
Wow.
tremendous value added there. And then we spotlight. So there's 4 winners throughout the season, but we spotlight 50 businesses throughout the course of the NHL season. We
Wow.
promote content on our social, on the Devil's social, and it's a really nice program just to embrace and amplify small businesses in general. And this is tailored more so for the smaller folks, the that are perhaps maybe in the retail space. When you think about a yoga studio, we've had dance studios come out, hair salons, barbershops, restaurants. Some classics too throughout New Jersey. I would invite you to go to the website and check out past winners.
I
But
watched
it's
a
just
few of them. They're pretty cool. I watched the
yeah,
one with the yoga studio and the hair salon, and one where it was like a not pencil, but like they were teaching art. It was really cool.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So like, think about having a professionally curated video or a piece of production for content for you to share yourself, but not only are you sharing it and it's done for you, but now you've got the New Jersey Devils or Citizens Bank also
Nice.
promoting that material. It's just a really nice story all the way around. Also, the 9th annual Small Business Community Champion Award just kicked off. That program runs from January 20th through February 10th, I believe. And we'll have 20 winners selected throughout the country, each receiving $10,000 plus also a membership to Luminary. Again, gaining an advantage of some of those same resources as I touched on earlier, from a networking and just from a perspective of business planning, entrepreneurship, etc. They do a great job. So yeah, I mean, we've got that. We obviously volunteerism, when you think about that, Randy, and our commitment to community and partnership with not-for-profit organizations is super important to our culture, to our credo. We spend time throughout the year at numerous activations with our not-for-profit partners as well.
So just to quick double back, so some the awards for some of those competitions you guys have for small business owners, is that just for working capital, or do they have some leverage with what they do with that?
Yeah, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the story here, Randy, is that they're really enabling those resources to be applied to the things that are important to their business. So
Nice.
maybe it's invested in a marketing program, maybe it's invested in a piece of equipment, or maybe they decide to hire temporary help for a seasonality in their business. It really gives the business owners that freedom to act for those things that are important to their business.
Awesome.
And how can people? I think you had mentioned February 10th was the end of the community awards thing, but Jersey Shops is still going on. How can people apply for that, and how long do they have?
So for Jersey Shops, small businesses can apply by visiting the Devil's website. It's newjerseydevils.com/Jersey Shops. And the application process is very, very simple. We obviously just take in some contact data and information about the business, and they're entered into the program.
And Nuno, I think we're about to run out of time here before we jump into our trivia. So I got just one kind of question for you, just a generalization here. What can businesses expect, just in general, from citizens going into, as we still kind of here in the start of the 2026 year?
Yeah, I mean, what businesses can expect from us, I think, is attention to their need. I think it's meeting our customers and prospective customers where they are in their journey. So
I
again, as I
like it.
shared, whether you're a solopreneur or a business that's been around for a few years, we have a home for you at Citizens. We would love the opportunity to talk to you about some of those things that are important. And then, like as I said, deliver a frictionless experience on the bank side and allow you as a business owner, Randy, to kind of just focus in on your business. Go be good at what you're being good at, and we're going to take care of the banking side. We love to tell the story of our customers whenever possible. So connecting them to programs like this that we just walked through around some of these awards, or attending some of our thought leadership events, partnering with some of the trade associations that we'll see each other at throughout the state, being able to shake hands with those customers when we're in the same room like that. I think that's what's important, and some of the things that clients or prospective clients can expect from us.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Excellent. Randy, you got a game?
I do. I've got hopefully Vinny's got kind of pre-warned you, but we do a little trivia here to wrap up the show. And today, usually it's a Jersey-based trivia. But today we're going to do some kind of financial industry trivia. With your almost 30 years of experience, we expect you to breeze through this. So if you guys have something to write with, I've got about 3 questions for you. And the winner is supposed to, I'm going to say supposed to here, get like a little gift card or something for lunch, on behalf of Planet New Jersey. So if you and Vinny are ready, it's good to be on the question asking side of this today. So if you and Vinny are ready.
I was born ready.
And I know Nuno's ready to go out to the West Coast and enjoy some warmth.
Yeah. So we're recording this in the beginning of February. This won't air until March, but I'm actually really jealous, not only of Nuno, but of March me, because I'm only imagining how nice it is in March. And March me is just sitting there while February me is in 6-degree temperatures outside right now. So.
Ice outside all over the place.
Yeah,
Whole nother episode, Vin. Question number 1. What D word, that's kind of rough, which literally means money in Spanish, has become a slang term for money in English? Which D word, which literally means money in Spanish, has become a slang term for money in English?
I might know this, but I certainly don't know how to spell it. So I'm going to take my best shot.
Let's see what you got.
Oh.
Hey, 2 for 2. The answer is dinero. Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, I definitely didn't spell it right.
Nice. Vinny and Nuno with the good one there. Okay,
right.
Let's see if we can switch this up. This one kind of caught me off guard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's saying I have to go to the ATM machine is actually redundant because ATM stands for automated what machine? What does ATM stand for? Automated blank machine. And I did not know this actually.
If I'm wrong here, my banking pals are going to kill me.
This is purely a guess right here.
What do you have then? Transaction? What do you have, Nuno?
Hold on. I've got teller.
Yeah,
hold it
teller is
closer
correct.
to you.
I didn't know it either.
Yeah.
I didn't know it either, Vin. It's teller. Automated teller
That
machine.
makes sense. No, once I saw his paper, I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Let me give you a little something, right? So, and you could Google this later, but ATM machines, when I started out in banking, right? ATM machines, we used to call them actually by another name. We used to call them Mac machines.
I remember that. I remember that as a kid. Yeah.
You can actually get a T-shirt. They'll have them on these vintage sites, which is the old Mac logo, MAC, which is really cool. I should probably, as a banker, I should probably have one and wear it. But yeah, that's a little fun fact.
What did that stand for? Did that have? Was that an acronym as well? And I'm sorry for challenging you on the spot
Money
here.
Acceptance Center or Money Automated Cashier. I forget. I'm going to get that back to you on email. But no cheating. I'm using Google here, but. Yeah, it was the Mac machine. Yep.
Cool.
Nice. Here we've got one more question here. So right now we got 2-1. We got one more question here.
Yep.
It says about 1/3 of the U.S. government's revenue came from liquor and alcohol until a 1913 constitutional amendment allowed for a tax on what? And I'm pretty sure none of us like this, but it is what it is right now. I'll ask the question again. About 1/3 of the U.S. government's revenue came from liquor and alcohol until 1913 constitutional amendment allowed for a tax on what?
I'm ready, Vin.
Hold on, I'm writing it down. Here we go. All right. So I would assume alcohol would be the answer since like you're saying it was that and now maybe it's not. I don't know. That's my guess.
I would like it.
Liquor.
Liquor. Actually, in 1913, the amendment allowed for a tax on income.
Oh my God, that was my second guess.
Yeah, that's why I said none of us like this. I could deal with alcohol and liquor, but when they started taxing income, then it's become a problem for all of us.
Rough.
So we've got a 2-1 win here from Nuno, obviously a special guest. Of course, they deserve to win. To Vinny,
Congrats.
unfortunately. Vinny, it's over to you to wrap us up, man. And thank you guys for playing.
Sure. So, Nuno, if somebody wants to take advantage of some of Citizens' services, maybe like check out more about Jersey shops, anything like that, how can they get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, citizensbank.com/small business. And in there, you're going to find a variety of resources and information, links to several programs. We talked earlier with Randy and you here about the Business Outlook and the Pulse survey. That's available online. Just feel free to walk into any one of our locations throughout the state and ask for more information. But also online, we have the ability for folks to request a callback and be contacted. So, or maybe see one of our game day ready bankers at a Devils or a Giants game during the season and talk to them about how we can get activated with either your consumer or business needs. And we'll do the best we can to make it a best in class experience.
Awesome. Nice. Well, Nuno Francisco from Citizens, thank you so much for joining us today. Randy, as always, thank you for co-hosting with me, and thank you to all of exactly. And thank you to all of our listeners out there. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff so that the show can get in front of more awesome people just like you. With that, happy March. I'm jealous of all of you sitting there in your warm March weather, and we're out.
Thanks, Vinnie. Thanks, Randy.